Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us for today's Introduction to 3dcart webinar. My name is Henry Suarez, and I'm the Technical Documentation Manager here at 3dcart, where I do my best to keep our various knowledge base articles and instructions up to date and relevant. As an offshoot of one of those responsibilities, I also host special instructional presentations like this one. Now, as I understand it, most of you joining us today are not only brand new to 3dcart, but also brand new to e-commerce in general. So on behalf of 3dcart, I'd like to welcome you to our services. We're looking forward to seeing your stores be successful. Now, let's talk a little bit about this webinar today. We regularly ask our customers for feedback, and one of the main concerns and issues we hear often, especially from new merchants, is that setting up the store can be really daunting. Most people have trouble knowing where to begin. And while we try to make everything as easy as possible, we understand how it can look overwhelming at first. So that's what we'll be doing today in this presentation. I'll be showing you a quick introduction of the 3dcart interface so you can learn how to navigate your way around the admin and get your store up and running as quickly as possible. Now, before we get started, I'd like to point out the little email form on the right-hand side of the screen here. At the end of the presentation, I should have a little bit of time left over for a quick Q&A session. So if you have any questions during the webinar, just enter your name, email, and the question into the form here, and I'll be able to see it. I'll do my best to get everyone's question during the time we have, but if I miss anyone, I'll be able to email you the answer directly. So make sure the email address you put into the form is correct. Also, to answer the number one question I always get, yes, this webinar is being recorded, so after we're done here and I can get the video uploaded, the webinar system will email you a link to review the recording at your leisure. I tend to talk pretty fast, so if you miss anything, that recording will come in handy. Alright, so that about does it for my intro here, and I think we're ready to get started. Now, the goal we have in today's webinar is to take a brand new store and get it ready for debut in the time we have allotted. So we'll be going over the basics like selecting your design theme, adding products, categories, setting up the shipping and payment methods, and finally we'll create a test order to see how everything will work together. So let me just switch over to the browser window here. One moment. Okay, so here we have the 3dcart admin login screen. Give me a second while I log in here. Now this is my first time logging into this store, so it's going to ask me to agree to the TOS, include an email address for notifications, and change the default password. So bear with me as I do all of that. Incidentally, if you need your credentials for your admin login, it can be found in your welcome email. If you can't find your welcome email or you never got it, just call our support staff or your salesperson and we can have it resent to you. Okay, so here we go. This is the 3dcart Online Store Manager. It goes by many names: the control panel, the admin, the interface, OSM, plenty more. But its official name is the Online Store Manager. So while we're here, let's take a look at the layout really quick. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll have your navigation tree to all of the various sections of the cart. As you click on each, a tree will expand to give you more selections and so on. Then along the top here, we've got a button labeled View Store, which will open up the storefront for you so you can see your changes as you make them. Now, when you first log in, the system will show you this quick setup wizard bar at the bottom that will help you get started with configuring the store. As you click each icon, you'll be taken to that respective section of the software to make the individual changes. Some people love the wizard, some people not so much, but regardless, it takes you to specific pages of the online store manager. So, rather than using the wizard during this demo, let me show you how to get to the actual pages it uses. The first option here is the Store Info section. This can be reached by going to Settings, General, Store Settings. Up here is the basic store info where I'll enter my store's name and slogan. Let's save this really quick. Now, normally the store name and slogan will appear on every one of your store pages. So let's click on the View Store and have a look. And there it is. Now, I can also use the Store Info section to add a logo to my store. So give me a moment while I upload it. So now that I have my logo uploaded, I'll click on the View Store, and there's the new logo. But you'll notice that the store name and the slogan is no longer visible on the store pages. That's because there's just not enough room for all three, so we just favor the logo. However, the store name and slogan are still used on the tab of the browser as well as your invoices and emails, so it's still relevant to have that information entered. Okay, moving on. We have the store info email. This is the email that messages from the store appear to be coming from. So your order notifications to the shopper, the password reminders, reward point notices, everything being sent by your store will reflect this email address as its from address. Next, we have the store URLs. One is the URL your store will use for regular browsing, and the other is for the secure URL when the store goes into secure mode during the checkout process. The next section is for the merchant information, which will be shown on the store's Contact Us page, as well as your emailed invoices and order notifications. There's also a separate section here for your invoice logo in case you need to use a different colored logo or maybe a different sized logo for the invoices. I'll just use the same logo as before in this case. And finally, we have the store's regional settings, including the order timestamps and currency settings. I don't really need to mess with these, so I'll leave them as they are. So let's click Save here, and you'll notice that the icon turns into a check mark to denote that you've completed this step. Next on the wizard, we have the theme selection. Now, you could either click on that button or go to Settings, Design, Themes and Styles, which will take you to the theme selection page. This is where you can select the store's design theme, which is basically the look and feel of the store. We have quite a few themes available for you, each with its own layout and color schemes. The important thing to note is that all of the themes are responsive. So let's switch over to a slide that I've got here to help explain it a little bit better. So all of the themes are responsive. This means that the themes will automatically rearrange and resize to look presentable on a desktop or on a tablet or on mobile phones. So rather than having a different design for each version, now you can have one design that adjusts as it's being viewed. This is much more SEO friendly than having what amounts to as two different sites, one for mobile, one for desktop. Rather than having two, you just have one. Alright, so let's switch back to the store. To install a theme, you just select it from the list here and install it. The store is going to notify you that it's been installed, and it'll ask you if you'd like to have it applied live. It'll then confirm some banner changes it's going to make with the selected theme. So I'm just going to say yes to all of that here now, and let's look at the store. And there's our selected theme. Now, just because I installed a pre-built theme doesn't mean I'm stuck with it. As I'm adding products, if I decide I don't like a particular theme, then I can just click on another one and try it instead. Okay, so let's move on to the next wizard step, shipping. This button on the wizard will take you to the shipping methods page, which is also available by going to Settings, Shipping, and then clicking on the Select Methods button here. Now, before we add our shipping methods, I want to point out two ways we have of handling shipping calculations. So let me switch back to a slide here. Okay. First, there's custom shipping calculation, which are basically flat rates applied to the order based on parameters you specify. You can create these shipping methods so that the rates are applied per quantity of the items in the order, or the total value of the order, or by the combined weight of the orders. That's custom shipping. The second way we have of calculating shipping is much more complex and also more popular, and that's through real-time shipping calculation from the actual shipping carriers themselves. So to use this type of shipping, you basically connect your store to your account with the respective shipping carrier. Then during the order, the store will send a call to that carrier and get the calculated rates based on the order's origin, its destination, and its combined weight. Now, I personally don't have my own account with a shipping carrier, so I'm currently limited to a custom shipping method. So for simplicity's sake, I'll just create a quick custom shipping method based on weight. And after I add the method, I'll need to specify the weight ranges. So let's go with 0 to 5 pounds. That'll be $7. 5.01 to 10 pounds, that'll be $12. And 10.01 pounds to 20, I'll just make that $23. I can always tweak the settings later. Now, one thing I do want to point out, though, is my ranges. When you're using ranges like this, you want to make sure that you specify the in-between amounts to give you ample coverage. Don't just do 5 to 10 pounds, then 11 to 20, because then you won't have coverage for the half pounds, quarter pounds, etc. in between ranges. Okay, so next on the wizard, we have the tax setup. Again, you could either click on the wizard button here, or if the wizard isn't your thing, just go to Settings, Payment, and click on the Setup Tax button here. Now, let's pause again a moment to go over taxes really quick. Now, before you set up your store's taxes, you really should speak with your accountant, or at the very least, check on your local tax laws, because they're different all over the country. Most states have different tax percentages based on individual locales, but there are some states where tax is based on region as well as the type of product that's being purchased. So as far as your store is concerned, you should really check with someone in the know to consult on the what, when, and where to charge tax for. Now with 3dcart, we let you set up tax tables based on the order's shipping destination zip code. So our built-in tax manager will let you enter individual zip codes or ranges of zip codes and whatever the applicable tax is for each. For example, we're here in Florida, and sales tax ranges between 6 and 7% depending on where in Florida the order is going to. So in my case, I would enter the various zip code ranges for each region and the applicable tax percentage for them. This way the store knows what percentage of tax to apply when someone in Florida orders a product from me. Now, I'm just going to go simple in this example and not enter my zip code at all. I'm not going to enter any ranges. What this will do is it'll charge a flat 7% tax rate for all Florida orders. I'm not sure of the legality of that, but it's just to move us along. Now, as I mentioned, this type of setup is useful for most states, but again, check with your local region laws since they're all different. If necessary, we also have the ability to integrate with services like Avalara, SpeedTax, and TaxCloud, which are basically dedicated services just for tax calculation. So if the zip code range method isn't workable for your particular state, you have those options at your disposal as well. All right, now we've come to the last bullet in the wizard, the payments section. This is where you'll set up the store's payment collection options. Again, you can either click on the button or navigate to Settings, Payment, and click on the Select Payment button. Let's take another quick pause here and go over the payment methods. Similar to the shipping settings, there are two types of payment methods. Offline methods are payment options where you're basically waiting for the money to come in, like a check or a money order, something along those lines. Then there are online payment methods, and these are options where they allow you to collect the credit card payment in real time. Now when it comes to the online payments, there are redirect methods and there are gateway methods. Redirect methods they're called that because the shopper clicks on the button and they're taken to the respective service to log in, they make the payment, and then they're redirected back to your store to complete the order. If you've ever used PayPal Express for an online purchase, then you're probably familiar with this type of redirection. The other online payment option is through gateways. These are methods where the shopper securely puts in their credit card number and they check out without ever leaving the store. Usually these are provided by merchant account services like certain banks and credit card processors. So depending on who your merchant account provider is, you'll have a specific gateway that you'll need to use for the payments through their channel. Fortunately, we've got pre-built integration with many of the gateways. So as you can see here, so chances are you'll find yours here. Even more so, they're pre-built and they're already tested, so all you really need to do is add the payment module and enter the credentials that were given to you when you signed up your merchant service account, and you're all set. Again, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go with the check option here and move along. You know what? I'll also add PayPal Express, just to give an example of it. Okay, so we're at the halfway mark here, and we've set up the basic store functions. We've gotten our basic information set. We've selected a theme. We set up a basic shipping method, tax calculation, and a payment option. So now that we've gotten the wizard done, I can close the wizard and get it out of the way. Now we're going to move on to the really important part. Let's add products to the store. I'll show you a couple of different ways to add products and present them on the storefront, but first I want to start with a clean slate. So I'm going to delete all the sample products and categories from my store. You can do this too if you'd like, but I'm just doing it so we have a nice clean canvas to work on. I'm going to go to Products, Product List, and I'll mark this little checkbox at the top here. Go down to the Batch Actions and select Delete and Apply. All the products are gone. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the categories. Now while still in the Products menu, click on Categories, and I'll delete each of these. Again, you can do this too if you'd like, or you can edit and build upon the existing products and categories that are already there. It's up to you. Either way works. Okay, so now that the products and categories are gone, let's look at the store. There should be nothing listed at all. And there we go. Just the home page slider that I can deal with later. Alright, now for this presentation I'm going to set up a store for cookware. So let me create a couple of categories here. Categories are just basically the navigation of the store. To use a retail analogy in this case, the categories are similar to departments in a big box store. So for my cookware, I'm going to create a category for my appliances. And I'll set one up for actual cookware and servingware. And I'll set up one for kitchen attire like aprons and stuff. Now, while I'm creating the categories, I can also create subcategories to each one. Again, the subcategories are also for navigation purposes. To use the same retail analogy as earlier, categories are like the departments, subcategories are like the aisles in that department. So let's take the cookware category, and I'll add pots and pans as a sub. And measuring and serving as the other sub. Now, let's add products to the store. We're going to go to Products, Product List. Now, if you're like me and you deleted all of the sample products, you can just begin by clicking the plus Add New button up here or in the center of the screen. Another idea, instead of deleting everything, is to just take the sample products, the ones that were already in there, and edit them as needed. It's entirely up to you. The creation process is basically the same for both. So I clicked on the plus Add New, and now we see the product creation page. There's a series of tabs at the top for each facet of the product. So let's start with the Information tab, since that's the first one there. Now, ID and SKU, that's the store keeping unit number, which is basically whatever I use for the product to identify it in my own store records. GTIN is the Global Trade Identification Number, which is usually the product's UPC number or some other unique number that everybody recognizes for the product universally. MPN is the manufacturer's part number, if that's applicable for whatever you're selling. And next is the name of the product. So this is going to be one of the aprons, so let's add the name here. Short description. So the short description is just a quick little blurb about the product. When somebody searches for the product in the store, the short description will be displayed in line with the search results. It's also used for SEO meta tagging purposes. Manufacturer. I can set up manufacturers in the store by going to Settings, General, Manufacturers. Then after I create those manufacturers, I'll use this drop-down to assign products to the manufacturer page. This way people can browse products based on a brand name. It's very popular with electronics. People like Sony, and they'll go to the Sony brand page instead. Distributor. If this product is supplied to me by a distributor, I can create my various distributors by going to Settings, General, Distributors, and then when they're all created, I just assign the various products to the distributors here. Then here I've got the categories section where I can assign the product to the appropriate categories. In this case, kitchen attire. Now we come to the pricing section. The first item here is cost. This is what the item costs me as the merchant. My shoppers will never ever see this number. It's just here for my own record keeping and internal reporting. Next is the retail price. Now this is the price of the item everywhere else. What this will do is when there's something populated there, it'll display the retail price with a slash through it, indicating that the price is cheaper at my store. Then in price, here's my store's price, my price for the item. And if I ever place the item on sale, the on sale price is what it'll go for. To mark the item as on sale, I'll just mark this little item on sale checkbox and I'll save. So before we go any further, let's have a look at how the product is coming along. Up here along the top right of the page, you'll see a preview button. If you click on it, it'll take you directly to the product on the storefront. This can be really handy if you're editing a product that's buried several levels deep in categories and subcategories. So instead of you browsing all over the place to see the product, this button takes you right to it. Alright, so here you see the pricing information we've just entered. And there, as you can see, the retail price is crossed out to indicate the savings here at my store. Alright, so back to the product screen. Over here we have various functions and display options available for the product. Non-taxable makes the product tax exempt. In some areas, certain types of products don't get charged tax, so here's how you exempt the product. Not for sale, we get questions about this a lot. This one allows you to have the product listed on the live site, but it removes the add to cart buttons and displays a little not for sale marking on the item. Again, we get a lot of questions about this. Basically, it's designed for situations where you want to have the item advertised, but let's say it has a street date or you're not allowed to sell it yet. You can mark it as not for sale, but at least have it displayed as in, I'm going to sell it, I just can't yet. So that's what that checkbox does. Non-searchable. Another one we get a lot of questions about. This checkbox is something you can use for products that you don't want to include in search results on the store. Usually you'd use this for items that are more service related than an actual product. For example, sometimes we have merchants that create a gift wrapping product. So it's a service, not a product. So they don't want it obviously being found in search results, so they would mark it as non-searchable. This next one here, the hide checkbox, will make it so the product is hidden and can't be viewed. It's not really used that often, but the reasoning behind it is, let's say it's a product you're out of stock on, and you're not sure if or even when it'll be replenished. So rather than deleting the product to recreate it later, you can just hide it temporarily. This next one here, gift certificate. This is used when the product itself isn't really an item, but rather a gift certificate that can be purchased on the store. It'll take the product and display it with a to and from box so the shopper can buy it for someone and send it to them. Tell you what, let me make a few changes here to show you how it'll look. And here's the product with the to and from fields. So the logic is someone will purchase this and send it to their friend. The friend, they get a special gift certificate code that's generated by the store, and that code can be used on the store at their leisure for whatever price it was purchased on. All right. Lastly, we have the home special and category special checkboxes. These will take the product and mark them on the home page or on the category page as a quote-unquote featured item. All right. So moving along on the page here, we have the product's shipping options. So as I mentioned earlier, the store can calculate shipping using custom shipping methods or real-time shipping methods from the individual carriers. This markup field here is if you would like to add an additional cost to the order when that item is ordered. So regardless of what's calculated by the shipping method, this will add a markup. Then over here in the dimension area, I can specify the dimensions of the packaging for the item, including its weight, length, width, etc. And if the item comes in multiple boxes, I can mark this radio button and the system will let me enter the dimensions for each box of the item. For example, furniture or office desk. Sometimes they come in multiple boxes. One box has the furniture components and the other one has the hardware. That's what you would use the multiple boxes for. Alright, then lastly over here with these two check boxes, I can mark the item as having free shipping, which will make the store ignore shipping calculation for the product altogether. And I can also mark the item as shipping by itself. This means that the item can't be bundled in a box with other items, but rather in its own separate container. Maybe it's got a special shape, maybe it's got to be packed in dry ice, whatever the reason. This will tell the shipping carrier to factor in an additional box for calculation for this one product if it's purchased with additional items. Alright, up next we have the inventory options for the product. Now, inventory control determines what happens on the product listing when the item reaches 0 in stock. There's the default setting, which follows the global setting for the whole store. That global setting can be set in Settings, General, Store Settings. The drop down here, however, is if you want to tailor that one product to be different from the global setting. Your choices here are mark the item as out of stock, which makes it so that the shopper can't buy the item until it's replenished. Back order, it allows them to buy it with the caveat that it's not in stock right now, so you'll ship it out when it comes back in. And then lastly, waiting list, which lets the shopper add their name to a waiting list so you can email them when the item comes back in stock. Over here, you'll see the current stock value for the item. And if you need to replenish the stock, you just add the new inventory here and you save. Stock alert over here is used if you would like to have the store email you when the product falls below this number. 0 means that it's turned off because the stock normally doesn't fall below 0. So if you want the store to email you when it runs out of its product completely, set this to a 1. And when the product reaches 0, then you'll get an email to let you know it's sold out. Most people will set this to a 3 or 4 just to know that they're running low. And finally here we have the description of the product. Now earlier I had mentioned the short description of the product, but that's really just a quick little blurb for the item. This is the extended description where you can write all sorts of details about the item. You can either use the default WYSIWYG function of it or click here and write out your HTML as needed. You can embed pictures in there, videos, whatever you need, bullet points, etc. It's where you really sell the product. Then last but not least is the keywords area. Now, these are used for SEO purposes for both external and internal searches on the store, and it's where you'd enter your specific keywords and phrases. You just separate them with a comma for multiple words and phrases and click Save. Alright, so that about does it for the Products Information tab. Let's save here really quick and let's get to the next tab. Images. Here's where I'll add images for my products. Now, with the new V7 version of 3dcart, we made this process super easy. You can literally just click and drag photos from my desktop to the field here, and I'm all set. Alright, so let's preview the store real quick and have a look. And there's our product with the images coming along rather nicely, I'd say. So let's go back to the product to continue creating it. Now, obviously, it's a big cart, and we're a little pressed for time here, so I won't be able to go through each and every tab here, but I would like to go over the important ones. So with that in mind, let's move over to the Options tab. Now, this is where you'd set up different variations or options on your products. For example, different sizes, different colors, etc. So in the case of our apron here, it comes in 2 colors and 2 sizes. So let's set those up. I'm going to click on the plus Add New button up here and name my option. In this case, it's colors. Then I'll select the type of selection function it's going to use. I'm kind of partial to radio buttons, so we'll select that, and then I'll click Add. And let's do the same for the size options. Okay, so now I have my 2 options created. Let's go ahead and create the actual option sets. I'll click here for the plus Add Color option, and let's set the first color as black. There we go. And the second color is white. Now I'll do the same thing for the size, small and large. Okay, so let's save the product and let's have a look at it. Here we've got our product, and there are the options for it. Now, before we move on, let me talk a little bit more about the options. Right now we've got, let's see, 24 units of this particular item. However, as far as the store is concerned, it has 24 aprons, but it doesn't know how many of those are large white, how many of those are black small, etc. It doesn't know the variations. It just knows that it has 24 units on hand. This is where advanced options comes into play. If you click on the Actions button up here, you'll see one option titled Advanced Options. And what this will do is it'll list all of the possible variations of this one product. So I have 2 colors and 2 sizes, so it's going to list 4 possible variations. And now I can enable advanced options for all 4 and specifically say how many of each I have on hand. Once I save this, the store will not only track inventory for the product, but it'll also go one step further and track the product's inventory based on the purchased options. So again, I'm afraid I don't have enough time to go over all of the various tabs here, but this is basically how you'd set up your products on the store. Obviously, though, if you have hundreds of products, this is going to get pretty tedious doing it manually this way. So for larger stores, we have the ability of adding items from a CSV import file. So to show that, let's go to Products and Product List again. This time, at the top right, you would click on the Export Import button. Here's where you'll be able to export many of the facets of your store's products, as well as import CS files or CSV files to update the store. What I usually suggest is to create a few products manually using the tabs I just went over. Maybe do that with 2 or 3 products just to get the hang of things. Then you would come here to the export section and export those 2 or 3 products. The reason I say this is because when you do this, the store will create a CSV file for you, and you can see where each of the columns comes into play. You can use this information then to create a master spreadsheet file that contains all of your products. Here we go. We have an example of one here, like this one. And then you can upload it to the store and get them all on there. So let me do this really quick just to show you how quickly this works. I'm going to erase all of my work that I've done so far. Let's delete this one product. And let me get rid of these categories. Alright, nothing in the store again. Now, I don't expect you to do this with a real store. I'm just doing it to illustrate how much faster CSV is than the manual method. So using a CSV import, I'll just grab that import file that I just showed you. I'll browse to it in the admin and here, and voila. 50 plus items added to my store instantly. It even created the categories for me. Now, I do need to confess something here. I had already uploaded my images via FTP prior to this presentation, so that's why the images are available. Under normal circumstances, the CSV import isn't going to reference images unless they're physically there. But regardless, I just wanted to show you how quickly the CSV import will add the products to the store. So again, I highly recommend getting the products in there manually for a few of them. Then use the CSV file so that you know what each column of the CSV stands for, and you can use that to build your store. Now, so far I've only scratched the surface in this demo because my goal is really to get you somewhat familiarized with how to start building up the store. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff and little nuances that you can do in the admin, and it can be pretty overwhelming. So what I'd like to do now is point out a few of the functions that are available inside the admin to sort of help you out with the various settings and whatnot. Okay, so first we have the information icons they're interspersed throughout most of the settings. For example, let's go to one of these products so you can see what I'm referring to. See those little icons with the info mark? We call them info icons, and when you hover over them, a small pop-up will come out to tell you what that field or the setting is looking for. And since we happen to be viewing at a product right now, the icons will also tell you at the top, written in green, which CSV header that feature is for. So that can come in pretty handy. And as I mentioned, these info icons, they're found pretty much all over the admin. So if you have a question about a particular setting, look for that icon, hover over it, and see what it has to say. Another thing I'd like to point your attention to is this icon in the left navigation bar. It's the question mark icon. This opens up the Need Help links, which link to the various knowledge base articles we have for the software. The really cool thing about the Need Help links, though, is the fact that they're all tailored for whatever page you happen to be looking at. For example, right now I'm in the product editing pages, so I see only product-related articles. But then, if I go to the Promotion Manager and click on Need Help, I'll only see articles for the promotions. So if you ever get lost in the admin, just look for those info icons and the Need Help button for guidance. Also, don't forget, our support team is here 24/7, so you can always just pick up the phone and call us, or even use our online chat feature. We're always here to help. So if you ever get lost, info icons, help button, or our support staff. Alright, so right now we've got just about everything we need for the store. We've got products, we've got payment and shipping set up, and we've selected our theme. So let's take a tour of the store real quick and place a test order. Alright, let's click on the View Store button here. Here we are. Okay, so here's our home page. I got some products going on, and along the top here I've got our categories. So let's go into kitchen attire, and let's get one of these chef hats. Let's add it to the cart. Proceed to checkout. I'll use money order in this case since it's just really a test order. There's my item with the shipping and tax calculated for me. And let's finish the checkout. And that's it. The order is created and we're all set. So yes, the software does a lot and it may look a little daunting at first, but I promise you, after a while, you're going to get the hang of it. It comes with the territory. And of course, if you ever get lost, like I said, our support department is always here to help direct you if necessary. So don't ever feel like you're in this alone. We got your back. All right. So that about does it for my portion here of the demo. It looks like we've got a few questions already, so we'll get to those in just a second. Again, I'm going to do my best to answer everything here, but if I miss anyone, I'll be sure to get you an answer via the email address that you provided. Before the questions, though, let me show you some important pages that you might find useful. First, we've got the URL to our support portal. This is where you can log in and submit support tickets, and it's also where you'll find our knowledge base articles describing pretty much everything on the software and how to set it up. The URL for this is support.3dcart.com. Next, we've got our App Store. Now, the cart software itself, it has a lot of features and functionality right out of the box. But of course, there's always lots of features that specific merchants may be looking for. So we've set up our App Store at apps.3dcart.com. Once you go there, you'll be able to find different apps and add-ons that are for very, very specific functions. Some of them are produced by us, by 3dcart, but a large portion of them are actually provided by our third-party partners. So if there's something specific you'd like for the cart to do that isn't possible right out of the box, just browse through the App Store and see if we or one of our partners has an option for it. Next is our YouTube channel. This is where you'll find the various videos we've produced over the years, as well as previous webinars that we've had with some partners and things of that nature. And that's available at youtube.com/3dcart. And lastly, there's our user forums. Now, when you're a full 3dcart account holder, you also get access, or you can register for access to our user forum. I'll be honest, I'm actually quite proud of our forum because there's a lot of merchants in there who've not only been 3dcart customers for a while, but also e-commerce merchants in general for a long, long time. They're basically experts at it. So it's a great place to get feedback and industry tips from other merchants. I kind of look at it as a peer-to-peer group in there. So I really, really recommend signing up for the forums when you get a chance if you have a full-blown account. All you'll need is your 3dcart store URL for the registration, and you're all set there. All right, so let's get to our first question here. Can I drop ship, and how do I update inventory in batches? Okay, now that's two questions, so let's answer the first one first. Can you drop ship? Yes, you can. I believe I briefly touched upon it earlier, but to recap, the store has a way where you can create distributors. You can do this by going to Settings, General, Distributors. Oh, it looks like I've already got some created when I imported that CSV file earlier, so let's open one of these guys up. Now, as you're creating the distributors, you have the option of adding their address, their mailing address, into the distributor profile. Under normal circumstances, a distributor is just the guy that ships you the products so that you in turn can sell and ship them to your customer. However, you could also use this checkbox and mark the distributor as a drop shipper. What that'll do is it'll treat the distributor as the person that will also ship the product to your customers. You're still selling the products, but it's the drop shipper that's shipping it out to them. So when the order goes to calculate for shipping rates, it'll use the drop shipper's address as the point of origin for those specific products. So yeah, you can drop ship. All right, so let's see here. Oh, you had another question in that last one. Let me go back. How do I update inventory in batches? Okay, there's actually a couple of ways to do it. The product CSV export is my personal preference because it contains a column specifically for stock numbers, as you can see. Not only that, but you can also create a custom export that contains just the product ID, the name, and the stock so that you can use that to batch update the inventory. So basically you set up a custom export and it only exports the columns that you absolutely need in that instance. The other way of batch updating your inventory, it's pretty useful as well. If you go to products and product list, you'll see all of your products, and at the top right there's this actions button. Click on it and you'll see an option labeled inventory. Doing that is going to list all of your products, and you can update inventory accordingly there as well. You could also use the advanced search up here to narrow your selection to a specific category or a manufacturer. So this method is pretty handy too. I'm more partial to the CSV, but this is pretty handy. Alright, let's see what else we got. Can you show how to change the revolving pictures on the home page? Revolving picture. Oh, you're talking about the homepage carousel. Yes. That's really easy. Alright, so if you're logged into the admin and you click on View Store, you'll see these alternating pictures on the homepage. We call it the homepage carousel. And there's two ways of editing it. As long as you're actively logged into the admin, you can click here and it'll take you right to that section of the interface. The other way to get to it is to go to Modules, and at the top here type in Homepage, just one word, and it'll show you the module. Then you click on Change Settings to get to the settings page. Now from here, you can either enable or disable the carousel, however you need to, and then if you scroll down the page, you'll see where you can add your own images to it. As for the images, they can be whatever you'd like, JPEG, PNG, whatever. The only two suggestions I have for the homepage carousel is first, make the images exactly the same size, the same dimensions. Otherwise, you might get a weird resizing effect as they fade from one to the other. So make sure they're exactly the same size as each other's. Then the second suggestion, if you're using PNG images, don't use any transparencies on it. The reason I say that is because sometimes the transparency causes some weird effects with the transition between one image and the other. Alright, our next question is, how can I make a sale coupon? Well, okay, so this is a little complex for the time we've got left, but let me give a quick rundown of what it is. What you're asking about is, we call it promotions, okay? And it's where you can create sale coupons or special sales and things like that. Anyway, it's under Marketing and Promotion Manager. Again, it's a little bit more complex than the time we've got, but basically you create a promotion with some basic settings. And then you save it. Now, when you save it, it's not enabled yet because after you create it, you still have the option of fine-tuning it. Basically, after it's saved, you'll specify what needs to happen in the customer's order, in their shopping cart, for the promotion to apply. And then you'll set what the promotion actually is. For example, you have to buy this item to get 15% off whatever. So you would set first the rules, which is what needs to happen in the cart for the promotion to be applicable, and then you set up what the actual promotion is, 15% off the whole order, a specific product, whatever. You know what? Come to think of it, here's a good idea. When you go to the promotion manager, click on the Need Help button. One of the KB articles we have, it actually has examples of how to make some basic promos, so you can get a better feel for the process. It's more of a step-by-step, so it'll probably be a lot easier to follow than me doing it here on the screen, and probably quicker too. Alright, so let's see. Can I have a landing page for my store? Yeah, absolutely. There is a way of having a landing page that you click through and get to the store. I gotta be honest though, I can't for the life of me remember how though. You know what? Give me a second here. Tell you what, if you go to support.3dcart.com and at the top search for landing page, the first click there will take you to it. Let me just read through it. Yeah, okay, I remember now. So to create the landing page, you basically create your page, you name it default.htm, and then you upload it to your account via FTP. And then you click, you create the click link through your store. You set that to go to index.html, so people get to the landing page, they click enter here, and they get to your store pages. Nice. Knowledge base articles for the win on that one. Alright, what's our next question? Please talk about the affiliate program. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's another one that's a little more complex than our time allows, but here's a quick rundown. The store has an affiliate program built in where you can share a special tracking link on your store, or to your store, I should say, that your affiliate uses on their site. In other words, they'll have this special link that they post on their site, like a blog or an advertising site, even a Facebook page, something like that. So they add this link to their site, and the tracking link will track orders that come in to your store from that link that the affiliate used, that they posted. And then it'll let you see how many orders that particular affiliate has generated for you. It's kind of a referral-based commissions kind of a thing. At the end of the month, with the affiliate program, you can see the commissions that you owe the person, and you can cut them a commission check for all of their referrals. So really quick, the way to set it up, we're going to go back to modules. It's usually the second one on the list here, but if for whatever reason you don't see it right away, just search for affiliate at the top. And once you see it, click on the little plus icon to expand it. And from here, you can enable it, set the default commission amount, and whether the commission is based on the full total of the order, including the shipping and taxes, or if it's just for the subtotal before shipping and taxes are factored. Incidentally, this commission percentage here is the default one that would apply globally to all affiliates. But you can also edit the individual affiliates record to set whatever commission you'd like for them to get. So if you have an affiliate that drives a lot of traffic to you and you want to maybe, instead of 10%, give them 15% or drop them down to 8% or whatever, you can do that as well. Alright, so once you've set up the affiliate program on the store, if someone wants to become an affiliate, they'll just go to your store and there's going to be a link for them to log in. On this particular one, it's at the bottom, and they'll register as an affiliate. And once you've approved them, they'll be able to log into their account on your store, and they'll see an area where they'll get that special link. It could be a banner or just a link that they'll use on their site to direct the traffic to you, and the store is going to track those orders for you. Again, it's it's a bit more complex than the time I've got here allows, but that's the basic rundown of it. You know what? The affiliate KB article will probably explain it far more in depth. In fact, I have your email address here, so what I'll do is I'll send you the link in a few minutes after we finish here. Speaking of which, it looks like I've gone a bit longer than I should have on this today. I'm really sorry about that. I know I missed a few of your questions, but I've got them here, and I'll get you an answer right away. Again, that's why I needed the email addresses, just for whenever this happens. So, in closing, I really hope this quick demo helps get you pointed in the right direction with 3dcart and the interface, and hopefully gets you pointed in the right place or right direction of getting started. As I mentioned, we try to make things really easy to use, but I can definitely see how a first-time user might be intimidated once they log into the admin, all those pages and all those fields. So you'll get the hang of it with practice. I promise you that. Once again, these are the links I mentioned earlier for the forum and the support portal and etc. And don't forget, our technical support team is always here. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even on holidays, we have a crew here. So if you ever need us, please reach out to us. You can send us tickets either by email, you can chat us, or you can call us. And either way, we're here. So once again, thank you all for joining us today, and I want to welcome you again to 3dcart. And may I be the first to wish you all the best of luck with your new stores. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.